Good morning friends, welcome to Scholar IAS Current Affairs classes. Today we are going to discuss about three prominent issues that are arised in December 11 Current Affairs, and the first issue is India's growing renewable sector. Before going into the topic, this particular topic is important for UPSC with respect to two things. One is in GS3 there could be a question on energy, and for prelims that could be question arising from what is the commitment of India towards Paris Climate Agreement, and what are the things that is coming under the renewable energy, and what is the status of renewable energy, how far it has grown in the last one decade, and how what is the projection in the next decade. All these questions they might rise. And coming to the topic, first we have to look into the facts. By 2030 India have to achieve 450 gigawatts, and this is the primary commitment that we have made in Paris Climate Agreement. And right now our capacity has reached 89 gigawatt. So the number might be very small when compared to 450 gigawatt, but this particular 89 gigawatt is a great feat for India for its continuous efforts from 2015. And because of this, India has become a most attractive destination for renewables. Looking into the global scenario, the global report says that in 2025, this particular renewables sector will overtake the electricity generation from coal. And also with respect to investment sector, by 2021, renewable sector will overtake oil and gas sector. By 2025, renewables will set to take the central stage by constituting 1/3 of world's electricity production. And looking into the Indian scenario, it is more promising when compared to international scenario, because between the year 2016 to 2020, our renewable sector have doubled. This is because the compound annual growth rate is set to be 20%, and the growth in which it has moved is higher than the other sources in the India's energy basket. So this kind of phenomenal growth is attributed to several reasons or several efforts by the government. First is that there have been a waiver of interstate transmission charges for solar and wind power, and second, renewable purchase obligations. This renewable purchase obligation is nothing but that the all electricity distribution licensees should purchase or produce a minimum specified quantity of their requirements from renewable energy. Because of this legal obligation, this renewable sector have improved so much. And the third reason is that focus on maintaining the sanctity of contracts. Before that, the contract was not maintained and a lot of subsidies were given, and it was not professional in nature. But government right now have streamlined this contract thing, and then the contract have been upheld properly, which encourages investment and production of renewables. Fourth is permitting FDI in the renewable sector. Basically, India allows 100% FDI in renewable sector with no prior government permission, that is automatic route. Before getting into the challenges of renewable sector, power itself poses certain limitations. Power has to be consumed when it is generated, because power storage system is not advanced in the world, at least in the developing countries. Power storage technologies as well as the space with which the power storage technologies occupy poses a severe limitation for storage of power. So technically power have to be consumed as it is generated. But coming to the renewable power, it poses a separate challenge on top of the challenges posed by the power sector. The challenge is two. One is seasonality and the other is intermittency. So we can only consume renewable power when it is available. Like when we have wind, we can capitalize on that and produce wind energy. During summers, we can capitalize on solar energy, and then we can generate power. And at the same time, even when we have certain even when the sources are ready and we are generating it, the generation of power is not continuous. So this is where the problem of intermittency comes in. Basically, these challenges have to be attended, and these challenges have to be countered technologically as well as through policy. So what exactly is green markets? Green market is a marketplace where the demand side and the supply side of electricity sector have come together to trade electricity out of renewables. So basically how it is done. When some consumer requires power, he applies in the green market and the supplier will supply the power to the consumer. This could be done on daily basis or weekly basis. From 3 hours prior to the requirement to 11 days prior to the requirement, we can apply for the electricity or the request for the electricity, and this will be supplied by the suppliers. This is basically like kind of other markets where goods are sold as per the requirements and supply. The same thing is adapted for renewables. That is why we call it a green market. And this is done using national, regional and state level transmission grids. So everything is now connected, so that even if a consumer from Jammu and Kashmir or a consumer from any state in the north requires some electricity, the suppliers from other states can supply through national grid. So this is the working of green markets. But this is not very easy to develop. Green market development is also having certain problems. Right now, renewable power generation companies in India are selling power mostly to discoms, that is distribution companies, and third-party consumers. So basically, there is literally no excess or less excess to give it to the market. So basically, despite these challenges, India have put forth the idea and going forward with respect to green markets in India. Recently, this status has been changing, and the new green markets have achieved high trade volumes, as most generation companies have adopted a robust system of forecasting and scheduling. Once you forecast and schedule, you will know exactly what is the power requirement, and you try to keep your sources alert and the production capacity alert, so that when the demand is there, the supply is done. So basically, green markets have been instituted, and now it is in the stage where it has crossed certain challenges and it is ready to provide benefits to India. There are a lot of potential impacts or the benefits that is accruing because of the green market. First is that it improves transparency, competitive pricing, flexibility, payment security. Second is that the financial savings offered by the exchange market. This exchange market focuses on reducing the power wastage, and also that the demand supply is met instantly. As a result, it produces huge financial savings for the companies. And third is that we can adopt different types of sale. We can strategize for long-term power sale or power purchase, and we can also go for an emergency power purchase, that is 3 hour span. As I've already said, the green markets now is literally advanced level, because the green markets have been integrated with the real-time market, so that everything is done efficiently. Second, that it has the possibility of long duration green contracts. All these different types of contracts have been brought into the green market, and that all these measures combinedly make an efficient green market sector as well as efficient renewable energy production. India's PSUs. India's public sector undertakings have been handled very poorly even after 30 years of liberalization. It is not performing well even after several reforms. The success of several reforms after liberalization have not been so much impactful, and this is the news. So why it is important? PSU, why it is important for UPSC? In GS3, it is important in the topic investments, growth. All these sectors covers PSUs, and there are a lot of prelims questions that is revolving around this. What is Maharatna? What is Mini Ratna? Basically, they won't ask what are the companies coming under this. Maybe there might be a conceptual question of what is the distinguishing factor of Maharatna and Mini Ratna. All these things are what is the controlling ministry of this, and there could be a question from committees. Which committee in the parliament that assesses the PSU's revenues and all these things could be a prelims question. So moving into the topic. So the major issue right now is that it is not about the operational efficiency of PSUs. There could be problem with respect to operational efficiency of PSUs, but the major issue is that the PSUs now have been mishandled. What are the mishandlings, or what are the problems that PSUs is facing because of the government? First is that central government has directed the PSUs to pay higher dividends and funds from their financial reserves, not by increasing the profit. So this is one issue. And second is that each and every PSU will have certain funding for CSR, corporate social responsibility funds. And this particular CSR is demanded to be directed to central government schemes and funds. And third is that the government stakes in PSUs have come under the scanner, because the government is asking one PSU to buy the stakes of the government in the other PSU, so that the other PSU will be saved. and the majority of the LIC's reserves have been used in this way. And is that the autonomy and the financial robustness of the PSU has also been questioned, because all these misgivings or all these mishandlings results in weakened PSU financials, as well as their autonomy is eroded so much. So before going into how PSUs are performing, it is imperative to look into why PSUs were created. PSUs were created for the social objectives of employment, growth in certain sectors, growing certain regions where there have been rampant backwardness in terms of literacy, education, health, employment, and all sort. So PSUs have been carrying this social objective for long. During 1950 to 1990, they neither satisfied the social objectives nor they have been economically viable. So in 1990s, it is felt that during the process of liberalization, certain PSUs have to be disbanded, certain PSUs have to be disinvested, and in certain PSUs, the government's non-entry should be done. Government should restrict certain businesses. So basically, post liberalization, there have been so much of reforms that was happening to improve the operational conditions of PSUs, to improve the economic viability of PSUs. But still, we are facing problems with PSUs because of the operational inefficiencies as well as the government's mishandling of PSUs. Currently, though PSUs have been doing a greater turnover, the profit have not been fair. On top of that, it has also borrowed heavily. So basically, these things have not improved the PSU's position, and they are on the downward trajectory. Despite the sad state of PSUs are very important for central government for certain reasons. Annual dividend of 30% of the net profit or 5% of the net worth is given to the central government as a payout. And this constitutes 6% of total budgeted revenues. On top of that, these revenues need not be shared with states. So these are all exclusive income of the central government, and that is why PSUs are very important. But what is the problem with these payouts? What have been the situation now with respect to these payouts? The payouts have been a really perilous issue right now. First is that the better performing PSUs have been consistently maintaining their increase in payouts, despite the fact that the profitability and the debt is not in a fair state. Debt have been increasing and the profitability have been decreasing. Because of this higher dividend to the central government, the surplus cash or the surplus reserve with the PSUs is less. As a result, it restricts the business operation for even the better performing PSUs. Second is that because of this norm, even if the PSU is not earning profit, but when they have a positive net worth, they are bound to pay to the central government. As a result, it worsens the sad state of the PSUs, which are already not performing well. Also, that on top of this, central government is asking the PSUs to contribute to CSR. To quote an example, 38 PSUs have contributed 60% of their annual CSR spending towards the PM Cares Fund. So all these have resulted in a financial crunch that makes it financially less viable to do a proper business and earn proper profit. To deal with this problem, government is pushing for land monetization of PSUs, as in the case of Indian Railways and key ministries. The challenges here is that first, we don't know what are the parcels of land that is available with the PSUs and what is its potential value, whether it is an non-disputed land. All these data we don't have. Without this data, if we are trying to monetize the land, it will lead to several legal problems in terms of intention, procedure, and process. On top of that, the land monetization of the railways have not been so well. It is very slow, and this indicates that even if the land is monetized, even if the land with the PSUs are monetized, it will take time, and without their data, it is a problematic issue. The current issue with respect to PSU disinvestment is that government is struggling to sell both loss-making and profitable PSUs. BPCL, which controls 25% of India's fuel retailing, have to be sold by the government to attain 2021 disinvestment target. Basically, 2021 disinvestment target is double that of the 2018 target. and government was able to satisfy the 2018 target by directly selling the HPCL stakes to the government-owned entity ONGC. So it was heavily criticized as a deal of the government by the government and for the government. So overall, PSUs are not in a good financial state, and land monetization and PSU disinvestment policies are also having severe challenges to really revive the PSUs. The next issue is hotspots of extreme weather events. Extreme weather events denote cyclone, flood, drought, heat, cold waves. Council on Energy, Environment and Water have mapped extreme weather event hotspots in India, which says that over 75% of the districts in India, which is the home to 63.8 crore people, are mapped as hotspots of extreme weather events. The frequency, the intensity, the unpredictability of these extreme weather events have risen manifold times in recent decades. For example, let's take with respect to flooding. In last 50 years, flood events have increased 8 times in India. In the flood-prone regions of Assam, the flood-associated problems like landslide, heavy rainfall, hailstorm, thunderstorm, cloudburst have increased 20 times. These facts place India as a world's flood capital, and it has given fifth rank in terms of most vulnerable country globally in terms of extreme climate events. And we all know that these problems are arising in India because of 0.6 degrees Celsius temperature increase in last 100 years. On top of that, we need to note that number of rainy days in the monsoon season have been decreasing and single day extreme rainfall have been increasing. For example, Chennai floods, Mumbai floods, all these are examples, Kerala floods, all these are examples where a single day extreme rainfall have been catastrophic in nature. Second event is shifting of microclimatic zones. Microclimatic zones are areas where they have unique weather pattern when compared to the surroundings. The shift in microclimatic zones is attributed to reasons like change in land use pattern, encroachment of wetlands and natural ecosystems, and heat trapped by the urban heat islands. All these are reasons why the microclimatic zone is shifting, and the impact is going to be so dreadful that the agricultural productivity is going to be dipped by 15 to 20%, and also it will affect other sectors and other sections of the population that is more vulnerable in nature. Third issue that the report notes is droughts. Drought hotspots have been found in Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. The intensity of damage in terms of loss of life have reduced because of droughts, but the problem is droughts have increased the uncertainties with respect to agriculture and rural livelihoods. States like Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka are increasingly witnessing more droughts. A shift in pattern of extreme climate events with respect to flood-prone areas and drought-prone areas constitutes 40% of Indian districts. For example, flood-prone districts in Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Bihar have become drought-prone. Some districts in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra have experienced shifting trends from floods to droughts. Third trend is that floods and droughts coincide during the same season in several districts of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha and Tamil Nadu. So because of these vagaries, it really dwindles the capacity of the decision makers to deal with disaster kind of situations and to prevent human loss. So extreme climatic events are a great threat to India, and it is high time that India recognizes, maps and finds solution for these problems. That's all we have for you today. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you very much. For more videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for exam related materials, please log on to www.scholar.com. Thank you.